Mhm. Hi everyone, I am Tara, aka Spirit Mother, and I would like to welcome you all back to my channel on YouTube, Spirit to Spirit Teaching Going with Self, on TikTok, 1974 Million Soul, and I'm also live on my Facebook. If you're new to my channel, I always kindly suggest, recommend, and I really encourage people to read the description of my YouTube channel, Spirit to Spirit Teaching Going with Self, to get a better understanding of what it is that I bring forward on my channel. I choose different topics. Like I've been going down the rabbit hole and I could talk about politics, health, and different forms of medical stuff. Like about my own life experiences. And lately, it has been a lot of like political stuff going down the rabbit hole, but kind of bringing things into a different light, a different perspective, and what have you. And today, like, for a bit now, I've been saying that I'm going to come on and go live and talk about family and strangers. And it's politics kind of coming in and what have you. And I've come to realize that, when I go on and I really get into different forms of politics where I seem like I'm aggressive, I've actually realized that I'm channeling someone, right? And it's like our ancestors that we channel. And when I get aggressive, and I was sitting here this evening, and I started looking back and started realizing, hey, I'm kind of like when it comes to the political stuff, it's like I feel like I'm channeling Jesus and his aggression towards it, and it was like, yeah, okay, I understand. He has that, he showed that aggression, and it like kept me looking at family because as I was coming into my enlightenment, I was going through a lot of different stages. I've shared my enlightenment stages a few times, but there's one part of it that it just keeps coming back. But it doesn't just keep coming back to me, it keeps coming back to my ex husband. Okay. So it's something that we both went through and we both experienced stuff from it because when we came to where we are, he came here in 2020 and I came here in 2021. And for between 7 and 8 months, I was staying in my camper trailer in front of his house. And I was having a lot of different experiences. I was doing a lot of shadow work and going through the dark night of the soul. And instead of I ended up connecting with someone on a telepathic level because I started playing frequencies to connect with your twin flame. Okay, a lot of people like they have a lot of controversy with regards to the twin flame and what have you. And I understand what the twin flame is. You have a karmic, and you have a twin flame. You have a karmic and a twin flame, and a karmic twin flame, and a twin flame for a soul. And when I was doing that, like a lot of stuff was happening. There was a woman that I was pregnant. A lot of things were really strange there. She was writing me letters telling me how she felt about me on more of a romantic level, and things kind of went astray because I told her like I'm not interested, I'm not interested. And then in October, when I got moved into my house, a lot of weird shit happened. And in all honesty, I was going through a lot of weird shit, and I put her through hell. I was going through hell, and I put her through hell, and then it was like I was feeling her twin flame, and for a bit I led her the wrong way, And I kept telling her I'm not your thin flame. And things went downhill from there. And that's fine. I hope she's doing much better. I'm not going back to the past. Um, then, uh, well, I ended up like being out in the field, and 'cause I would holler at the sky, like I would holler into the sky because I was going through the parts where, like, I was telling the Matrix, like, I'm right here, and like, you're not going to stand for this, and what have you. And this one, like, I would like just go to the airport every day just to like kind of be with myself. I was walking all the time. I was talking to different parts of the galactic. I was talking to different ancestors and spirits. It was like going through my own darkness, going through my own stuff that, like, my ancestors are experienced or I experienced in a past life. And a lot of people don't understand that. And that is actually totally fine. My channel is not for everyone. And so I was like going to the airport and what have you. And this one day I have my, I don't have my staff in here, but I had my wool sweater on. I had my wool sweater on that I got from when my mother-in-law at the time, when she passed, I obtained her wool sweater. And I was out in the field. I had my hair up and a wool sweater on and had my staff. And some days I'd be hollering at the sky. And this day I was just dancing around and singing in the different in spirit language. And my God, it was like a little kid. I felt like a little kid singing and dancing around. And I was doing that, and then all of a sudden I turned around and two people walked, two people walking towards me, and that's when things got even like really much deeper and more chaotic. And it was a man and a woman, and they were in a relationship, and we all started talking, and then we went over by their car, and we were talking, and when I didn't know any names and what have you, and I was leaving. This is kind of what got things in motion, stirring up. Because the strange thing was that in 2017, I had a medium tell me that an older man, a grumpier older man, had attached himself to me from the time that I was first born, stage two, and my great grandpa, a couple months after I was born, he had passed away, and his name it was great because his name was Horace. Okay, and I think Isis had a son named Horace, and well, my great granddaddy's name was Horace, and he was married to a lady named Jenny, who, when she was 48 years old, she died in a house fire. I don't really know what really happened. It said that she was putting accelerator and she was starting the wood stove and she took the wrong accelerator and it blew up. You know, fire and I, I have the whole jacket. And earlier when things were kind of haywire, like I was going through the motions of my great Grammy being on fire, and I was saving her. I went and I I I, I put this in water. I soaked it, and this woman, I ended up like taking it because it was like I was reliving it, and I took it and I threw it over her, and I put her to the ground, and it was like I was trying to pat her out, pat the fire over her, and so when I met this man and woman, and she told me her name, she said her name was Jenny. And I turned and I looked, my great Grammy's name was Jim. And then I explained, like, how like my my ex-husband was my great granddaddy, and I've actually had dreams and visions of my granddad, well, what was my grandfather, but maybe I had been seeing my great granddad, and he looked like my grandpa, and it was strange, and I offered my camper trailer because they had been staying in the tent woods, and that like I ended up coming home and what have you, and then like after this all like with this woman in October, at October, it all went haywire, and like I ran from my home, but first off I hollered out a name, it was a woman's name. I hollered out like a Jessica, and then I went running, and I felt like my oldest son was lost, and I went running and hollering his name. And when I was running through my woods down my path, I was just kind of like running, and all of a sudden I come across. It was like I don't know if somebody put it there, but it was really strange because it was a cross, like kind of laying here like this and like this. And when I got to the cross, I just dropped to the foot of the cross, and I wrapped my arm around the cross and I started crying. And then I heard a voice saying, "Come to, like, walk, pick up a stick and walk." And I started walking to the path towards the airport where I would go and I would hang out. And well, prior to that, I had ran to the airport because I was like angry and I was trying to get away from my ex-husband, and I had a windbreaker type thing on, and I lay down the ground and I curled up in a ball, and I was hearing someone say, "It's going to be okay. Don't worry, it's going to be okay." And then this man came and sat with me, and when he smiled, I went to back away and run, and I heard he said run, but he didn't say anything. And then I was looking, and it was like I knew him, and I asked if I could hug him because it was like I knew him. And we walked and we talked. And then, like the day that I went running, I went to the airport, and it was strange because if any of you ever seen the movie, uh, the movie series Twilight, right? And I think it was Twilight Break of Dawn or something like that, where the council and they come and it was a big fight and they all started running. Well, that's what as if I was in that fight. I started running through the field with my staff, and I started running through the field. When I was told to come this way, like just come, just keep coming, keep coming, keep coming. And then I went through that, and I heard someone. I turned, and the same person was there. So it's very like it was comforting. And we started talking, and we ended up doing something that we really should have done. Okay, and it was a part of did I regret it? Well, because we had talked first, and we were like sharing different life experiences, and it kept coming back to like we knew each other. It was like a draw to one another, and I ended up leaving because it was really strange because the guy on like like I was here to do a kid, and then it was strange because when I was leaving to go back home, they asked me, like, "Aren't you cold?" Because all I had on was a thin sweater. I mean, it was really cold and freezing. I was like, "No, like, I'm not cold." It feels like the wind is going through me. And I got home, my sister, she was there, and I ended up going to the psychiatric unit. And when I come home, I talked to this person again, and it was like, "Are you sure that it?" I was like, "Yeah, like it's gonna it'll be fun, right?" Because it's just like, well, maybe he's just really not doing something too. And then when they come, they took my car down back, and we're there, and like he and I and talking, but there was this one day, and he and I were talking, and we were saying like we feel like my ex husband and his girlfriend were supposed to be together because I see my ex husband as like being the spirit of my great granddaddy Horace, and her name was Jenny, and we were all putting up like pulling on the tarp to put the tarp on, and it was like kind of looking like that. Like she was drawn to him, and I wasn't jealous of him because I knew that I wasn't meant to be. I wasn't meant for my ex husband. I knew that I meant to help him find his person. And because everything they had, like they had shit clothes called like music, and didn't like cats. Like it was just like ironic. And here about well, just in the summertime, like things happen. My ex husband called us woman a whore because her and her partner because him and I, we were getting close, which we shouldn't. Okay, so out of them all, the only one I was referring to was Jenny because I wasn't in a relationship with my ex-husband, and I was between her and him. So Jenny is the one that I would be referring to because it was her. And one night it ended up like things kind of got escalated, and she come and went out, and she was punching him, and my ex-husband, I just stayed in the house and tried hollering at my ex-husband and another guy. They ran out and they were calling her a whore. I should have went out and defended her, but I was a coward. And come to find out that somebody had reported on TikTok, and then the police showed up because somebody had called the police, and they arrested him because of something about he was trying to put a restraining order on someone, and he didn't show up to court. for it, or I don't know like what the whole thing was. But see, my ex-husband. See, the thing is, my ex-husband believed that him and her were stealing something. Okay, well, okay, they did. I don't know which one of them stole stuff, but they stole something that was a holdout. It was like a camp trailer and a few other things, and none of it was of value really. And she ended up bringing the stuff, and like right on, and then we took him to get the stuff, but that's kind of what was going on, which, like I said, I should have defended, and maybe that's why I was getting back being called a whore because she wasn't the whore. Nobody was really a whore. It was bad choices. We didn't make the right choice. And so the police come, and then the police were like a restraining order. My ex-husband kept wanting to get a restraining order. My ex-husband wanted to get like another restraining order so she couldn't come on the property. But I was like, don't do that. And he ended up leaving because he told me like he got to know my he really like my ex-husband. They drank together and smoked dope together and laughed together. And I mean, he did tell my ex-husband that he really needs to learn how to treat women, which I mean, I have to say, he didn't treat his girlfriend well, and I wasn't even my ex-husband's girlfriend. And he told me he was going, and I told him, well, if you're going, like, I don't want to see you. Just go. And before that all happened, I was in my house. I was upstairs. And I was getting this feeling. It was like really clawing. And like it was like something trying to be spit out. And I ended up spitting out to my ex-husband that I like this guy. And then it was just a big fighting match. And I wanted to go. And I said, no. You don't need to go. And it was like, no, I just want to go. And then my ex-husband asked him, do you know what this is about? What's going on with the guy said no. So he didn't. I was pissed off at him because I admitted something, but he didn't. So I was going to go, and it was like I heard my ex-husband through the mind to this guy's mind saying, "Please stop her." And I know that my ex-husband knew that we liked one another because there at one time, a couple times, he told me, "Go to your boyfriend," and it was that part, like really strange. But what kind of, not kind of, it did escalate things. It escalated things to a point where a fight then broke out in the house because everyone, like, there was three men and Nick, my ex-husband, this guy, and another guy with my ex. The whole time they had been drinking. Okay? My ex-husband was buying me alcohol most of the time, and like they were sharing their meat. And I was this night I was drinking and then really drank a while and I was drinking. And the young fellow that was here, we were got talking and I asked him like, what was it that he really wanted to do as something he would like to do as kind of like a job or or what have you. And he told me that he liked massaging feet. He said at first he didn't want anything said. He didn't want to say it. I don't know, like it's okay. And we went to massage feet, which is there's nothing wrong with that because there are people who do that. It's the orthopedic stuff. So I said, well, okay, here, like here's my feet, massage my feet, and I'll tell you whether or not you're good at it. And my ex-husband, he was sitting there, he was fine, and the guy who I like liked and what have you, he got pissed off and and he called me a whore. The young fella jumped to my defense, but my ex-husband thought that or told me that well, he was defending me because if you no, he wasn't defending my ex-husband. No, he was defending me because the guy had called me a whore because I was getting my foot massage. And the young fella, he jumped up and he went after the guy. And I jumped in the middle. And when I jumped in the middle, I put them both like this. And my ex-husband was trying to hit the young fella and get him off. And I just looked at him like, back off. And like that night, it was really strange because it was like experiencing an energy that just kind of flowed afterwards. And the next day, oh my gosh, I felt like shit. Like I literally felt ill. And that was God's way of saying, here, you're going to feel this. And I just seen uh, going like behind, it was like come out from behind me like a shadow, like a little shadow. But it was like smoke just went past me and I have nothing here. I have nothing going that will produce smoke. So it was a spirit that just went past. And the next day I felt like shit. And, my ex kept going and what have you. Me and this guy were spending time, and that's why, like I said, I should know. But it was like we were all in a vulnerable place. And there it just went again. Okay? We were all in a vulnerable place. You mightn't see it on TikTok, but it just showed it on my YouTube and Facebook. We were all in a vulnerable place. And we all had our own issues and things that we were dealing with. I was dealing with the part of being like, because I had been cheated on in the past, and I had been being treated like crap with my ex-husband, and the woman Jenny, she had had a rough relationship with her ex, and he had been cheating on her too. And then with him cheating on her, it didn't help her any. And I just couldn't help but think, like, that my ex-husband and her were really meant to be together. But I kept trying to find my ex-husband's person. And, well, he ended up leaving, but he took my ex-husband's coat that my ex-husband lent him, but he left. He never came back. He didn't. It wasn't that he stole the coat. He did the right thing. He left, and he was leaving to give a chance for our relationship to work out. But my ex-husband doesn't realize that's why the ex-husband keeps throwing all of this in my face. But now, when I bring up about 2009, when he left me downstairs in a pitch black basement that had no windows, on a mattress on the floor with no sheets or anything, and I was not well, whenever he brings shit up and throws it in my face, I bring that up because, like, my beef is with him. Okay, my biggest beef is with my ex-husband, and it's like spirits saying, like, you two really need to sort this shit out, right? Because it was like we both kept following the same routine. Here, we're karmic, we're catalysts, but in ways we were best friends, not lovers, but best friends. But we've put each other through so much, like we've both gone through so much crap in our own life, and we both brought our own life into our life. But his went a lot deeper. So this guy left, and then a bit late, I don't know how long, it was like a year later, because he and I had sent a couple messages. And somehow my ex-husband it got sent to my ex-husband. This was later. I don't know who sent it or how it got sent. He wouldn't tell me. But see, he tells me and expects me to tell him shit, but he tells me nothing. So it's like, dude, hey, seriously, man. And we ended up getting into it. He was really like hollering at me and stuff like that. And I just like, I told him to fucking pack my bags. I packed some stuff, put a comforter in the car. I put my cat stuff in the car, and I was leaving. I didn't know really where to go. I ended up going to my dad's, but I didn't go in. It was freezing cold. I ended up staying in my car. And 6 o'clock in the morning, I got a message from my ex-husband apologizing. But and then he says, well, I apologize. No, you're not apologizing. You're only saying you're apologizing because you just want me to shut up because, even today, like he says about a counselor or like he's reading all this stuff and he's watching these things on YouTube and stuff like that. And he's following what the therapist saying and stuff like that. It's like, hey, dude, I was already telling you that. And it was that part of, he catered more to strangers, but he seen me to be his family. So I become very angry. Like when I first started going through this, before I moved here, I was really going through my awakening and I was very happy, cheerful, and laughing and just like, and when I came here to him, it all became a fucking nightmare. But see, the thing was, when he sold his house and I gave a place, like I brought him into my home, he treated me like really not well in my own home. And at that time, that's when he and my nephew used magic mushrooms. It was my nephew's first time and only time that he used magic mushrooms. He used them with my ex-husband. And my nephew said that whenever he looked at me, he said that he said, Aunt Terry, you just kept changing. Like turning into cute, weird things and everything like that. And he said when he looked at my ex-husband, all he could see was a fucking dragon. So that's why I say I know who my ex-husband is as this higher being. And it's like my nephew was seeing my enlightenment. My nephew was seeing the Holy Spirit because the Holy Spirit was everything. But after that happened, like it just kept coming and coming and coming right after another. and it kept piling up. And it was like I'd open my door to people, and he would open his door, and I was like, whenever we opened our door, it was like things kept getting worse for us. And even when I would tell him that, I felt like I was in danger, and he would just get mad at me. But see, the people that I felt like I was in danger around, he would hang around them and sit and smoke dope with them. So it didn't matter how many apologies he said to me. He could say that he protects me or we protect me. No, because he'd get pissed off if I told him this stuff. So to him, it was strangers more important to him than someone that he professed he loved. And sometimes that song, he don't love you anymore. It's like, go away. He don't love you anymore. It's like, it would be that part of, you think I don't know that? Who's ever sending that message saying he don't love you anymore? Do you think I don't know that? I went somewhere to talk to somebody to get me out of here. Because it was that part of, hey man, I really don't care how many times you apologize to me. And he told me about things that he experienced and things that he found out and what have you. But see, the thing is, the things that he found out are the exact same thing that others were doing to him, or treating the way they were treating him, or back in the ancestry line, or what have you. He's been doing the same thing to me. So I've been angry, and right now I can feel that. It's like a lump right here. Like I know, and I really don't care if he's pissed off at me. See, the thing is I really don't care what people think of me. But I care about what I do to other people or what I've done to other people. And that's the thing. It's like you can grow to care what other people don't think of you. But it always comes back to that part of, do you care about how you treat other people? And today he kept telling me not to mirror him. Well, as long as you keep coming at me, I'm going to give it back to you. And because I spoke my piece today, he's pissed off at me right now, and he's acting like a little child. Because, things were fine. I was much and I've been crying because I had been channeling and I've been hearing different parts of it all, and conversations and what have you that was happening inside of me. And I was crying while I was driving. And then all of a sudden he started. And I told him, it's that part of, like, don't give me a compliment because, I don't believe your compliments, because your compliments always come back with an insult. And that was what he was saying that certain people were doing to him growing up. He never felt like he was being complimented because they compliment him, but they insult him at the same time. It was never really a compliment. And that's what he does to me. But he doesn't see that. See, I was basically over my stuff. But when he keeps throwing stuff at me, you're fucking right. I'm going to throw shit back at people of what they've done, right? Because it's that part of, hey, you won't let me let go of my stuff. So he thinks that what he did back in 2009 was okay, but that's still a sore spot for me. Like with regards to the guy that, I didn't tell him that a guy that he was bringing here sexually assaulted me in 2016. I just kept being angry at this guy and at my ex-husband because I kept telling him, I don't want him here. I don't want him here. He's coming down in my apartment. And not only was he coming in my apartment, but my ex-husband knew that he was going in his bedroom. But he kept bringing the guy around. And that guy was bringing other people around. And he was taking other people into my ex-husband's sheds and things like that, where they could see. And then my ex-husband blames this guy and this woman and says that this guy was a thief and calling him a bum. But my ex-husband doesn't look back to when he was a bum. And he said he didn't steal. You know, I really don't believe that, because he probably got in some desperate situations, whether because like my ex-husband, I actually seen his doppelganger on TikTok. Like, I mean, his doppelganger, not only did he look like him, but he had the same name and he had the same medical problems. And he was a bum. Sorry, he was a homeless person, because I don't like the word bum, but that's what my ex-husband did. So I know when I come on here and I get really freaking angry, like a woman come on here and said, you know, an ex is an ex for a reason. Yep. But see, the thing is, when you're connected to spirit and you can see the different versions of things, you can actually see the different versions of your loved ones in these people. Sometimes in my ex-husband, I actually see my dad when I look at him. Sometimes I look at him and I see my oldest son. There was one time I looked at him and I see my nephew. There's times when I look at him and I see a version of this guy. There's times when I actually want to, like, just lay with my ex-husband or give my ex-husband a kiss, but it's like, no, because I know that it's not so much me. And he's explained, like, you know, when you have bad situations, you grow up and you have traumatic experiences, and you have like narcissistic parents or anything like that, what ends up happening is you blame yourself. You think that you're not good enough, and you're the poison, so you run. I was doing that my whole life myself. And it was like I was trying to push people away. And it's like sometimes it's like my masculine comes out, and it's like when you're close to somebody and you feel you're getting too close, you push them away. You alienate yourself. And by doing that, you start alienating other people. Like, I come on here and I would share my story, but it was like versions of an angry person, and I wasn't angry. I'm not angry, but it's like anger that just festers and comes up. And right now, we're going through a lot of dark nights of the soul, and this just keeps coming back, and it's been coming back. This is the same thing. It's the same thing. And he keeps saying that, you know, he wants to beat the shit out of this guy. They keep saying, well, you know, hey, go fucking find him. Like, seriously, why don't you two find him? Like, why don't you go find him? Well, I don't know where he's at. Yeah, you fucking do. You know you can find him. Because he told me that somebody had told him who and where he works now. It's like, dude, you need to get over it. Like he needs to get over it. Like he tells me that the collective needs to get over it. One day I was driving his car and he started getting like being an asshole with regards to I'm the one driving and he's being a fucking asshole to the drivers, because the driver like come out and you know, well, I'm the one driving. And I didn't have a problem with it. I knew to put my brakes on, and I could feel the festering, and I could feel the masculine part coming out, and was just like, it just wanted, whatever it wanted to last. It was like, I told him, like, whoever, like, whatever I'm like, getting right now, this person fucking hates you, can't stand you. And he said, well, tell him. It's like, apparently, he knows what's going on. It's that part of, I'm going to say to these two people, why are you putting me and her in the middle of your anger towards one another? Because you're keeping that anger with regards to probably even her. Like, she's probably angry at me because I can feel that at times. And, you know, and like, I really, I couldn't blame her. Because I'm going through my own things. She's angry with me, she's angry with him, and I'm angry with my ex-husband, and I'm angry with him. And the view that really need to solve this, because here in the summertime, my ex, he told me that he was talking with his sister, right? He told me that he was talking with his sister, and he got talking about when he was younger. And see, I don't see things as a coincidence. I see things as a synchronicity. This woman's name was Jenny. My great Grammy's name was Jenny. And when he was like 5 years old, he ran away from home and he packed a bag and he went to this little girl's place. His sister said it was his little girlfriend, and her name was Jenny. So do I see things as coincidence, I see things as synchronicity. And she was, I was told, like, with him, with the guy, he would say, like, she wonders why, like, she gets pissed off because I don't get grumpy, I don't get angry. And it's like, shit, my ex-husband gets pissed off and angry all the fucking time. It's like, holy shit, I don't want to listen to it. Like, you know, it's like, holy crap. At times, I feel like I feel like I'm a kid in the middle of it all. Because the day that, like, things went, like, when we did something that we shouldn't have done, it felt like a teenager. But I had uh, dreams before that, and in the dream, it was like I was trying to push. We were all playing a game, and I don't know, like in the dream, the vision, or what have you, if someone, if this person was making fun of me, but I went to push them off their pedestal. It was like both like around 12, 14, what have you, and I was pushing this person off the pedestal, and at the same time I was pushing this person off the pedestal. I heard someone holler, Yeshua. But I didn't get a look at who it was that what have you. But it was all really strange. And then I ended up opening my door to another stranger. Didn't really know them that well because they were I was bringing them out of a bad situation, like a bad situation. And I gave up my space, and I didn't ask for anything in return. Just, you know, some respect. And this one night when I was in the bathroom and I just really needed to chill because, you know, she had her music going all the time and things like that. And she was doing her lives and what have you. And her through it. I gave up my space. I put my stuff on hold. She was making money and I wasn't. And this night, the day before, like things had like happened, I felt threatened. I was in the bathroom and I had my frequencies up in my stereo so I could like not hear, so I could just kind of zone with music and not hear her and not hear her music. So I put mine up, and that was the first time I had done it. And she got pissed. She got pissed off at me because I ended up taking my music in the room, and I went upstairs for something, and I come downstairs, and I was sitting on my couch, and because she had been drinking, and there wasn't supposed to be drinking in my home, and she hovered over me, and I did feel threatened, like she was wanting to like, come at me, because I kept telling her like, back off, like really back off. And I went upstairs and had my music going, and I could hear her. After I went upstairs, I could hear her just like screaming. And I stayed upstairs all night because I didn't feel safe. I didn't feel safe in my own home. And the next morning, I come down, I got dressed, didn't talk to her nothing because she had brought somebody else into the house, kind of like my sister did years ago. Because I ended up telling her, like, no, I don't want that right now. Like, I'm not ready for another person to come in. But she ended up going behind my back, going to my ex-husband from my ex-husband's house. And I get home, like, after that, like, before this all went down, I got home and and I left. I went to my dad. This was around Canada Day, and I went to my dad's and I spent a couple nights there. And I was talking to like, sending a message to my ex-husband about, like, she's got to go. She's really got to go because he knew what happened, and he found her alcohol. He even said that alcohol wasn't supposed to be in the house. She had hid it, and he had found it. And I ended up staying at my dad's for a couple of days, and she was messaging, and she told me that she bought a red tea kettle for me, everything like that. And I told her straight up, like, I don't want, like, I don't want the red tea kettle. I would rather have, like, you pay some of the money that you owed me. And she ended up taking the tea kettle, which, was fine because I told her, like, you really got to go. And they ended up finding a place, and she left and she cleaned my place up, which was awesome. I really appreciated that. But see, the thing is, when they were here, there was a lot of darkness because the other woman, she had a cat, and the cat wasn't well. And the third friend, she had two dogs. And my cat wasn't feeling safe because her dogs kept coming at it, and he would have to run and hide under the bed. And like it was like really getting dark. Like the light was being sucked out of my crystal, sucked out of my stuff. But see, and they had a lot of clothes and everything just kind of scattered all over the room. And I was like really working hard to keep things clean. And she said about bringing in a cot and putting it in my kitchen for the other woman is like, fuck no. Like, no, I'm not doing that. And when they left and she cleaned everything up, it was that part of I walked in and I could feel the heaviness gone. And I ended up taking her a bit later. I ended up taking her stuff that like we had here from when she had cleaned out her storage room to go live with her boyfriend in another province. And it wasn't until the summertime, and I haven't taken it to her yet, but I haven't. There was a box that we didn't find. We thought that we needed a box. We didn't find it, but I found it like in the summertime. And it was that part of, it's safekeeping, and I do like want to figure out a way to get it back to her because it was things that were important to her. It was things with regards to her mom and different things that she had collected over the years. So it's fine, it's safe, and I had just like found it recently. It's because I'm not I'm not ready. You know, it's not that it was my ego that got bruised. It was my trust. My trust and respect got violated. And it was like I ended up always putting my life on hold for other people. And it's that part my kids are grown up. But it's like sometimes like with regards to Max, I want to live. But see, I know that it's not a relationship with him because he doesn't really enjoy the things that I do. I am into like ancient, the ancient goddesses. I'm into crystals. I'm into spirit and what have you. And he thinks that that we would be able to make the relationship work. No, we wouldn't because he criticizes me all the time. The only thing he doesn't say anything about or criticize me about is when I speak the different languages. But just today, he told me that I was psychotic and the doctors just don't want to tell me. But no, they have me diagnosed as unexplained. Even my therapist today that I have now, the same thing. He can't explain it. Like the last appointment that I was in with him, holy crap, man! I felt the fury within me. I was upset. I was aggressive, and I just felt like I just wanted to tear the whole place apart. And I explained to him what I was experiencing, what I was feeling, and I explained to him like it's parts of spirit. Like I pick up on it's like I pick up on other people's energies. When I'm sitting there with him, I can pick up on his, and I will explain what I'm experiencing from him. And right now, I feel a festering in here because it's like that part of trying to close me off because the truth hurts. But see, he doesn't see, and others don't see that I'm bringing myself out here. It's not for people to feel sorry for me because this is my shadows, my dark nights that I have to go through. And I'm just sharing it and letting others know, like, I can admit to my own shit. I question and wonder, like, why? Why can others not? Like, why can't my ex-husband admit to things? Like when we got into it, I told him today because he says about the therapist. Well, what the therapist says? Well, a therapist will tell you to use, and he watched it just the other day where a therapist said use the I am statement. So today I was using the I feel statement, and today I was using the I feel statement, and he got pissed off at me because I was saying about how I felt when we were in Alberta and staying in that woman's house when I was downstairs in the pitch black and he was never down with me. He was never downstairs. he might come down to get something, and once a day he'd come check on me, but I was left in the dark, and he was upstairs taking her shopping and buying her paint and sitting in the garage smoking dope and drinking alcohol and having a grand old time with her, and couldn't buy me nothing. Like, never even, like, wasn't even bringing me any food. And when I told him, told him, like, I want to go for a drive, he was going to take her. And it's like, no, I want to go for a drive. I want to talk to you, because she had come to me and told me, she said, I could have fucked your husband had I wanted to. Well, I'm on the mindset, somebody's not going to say to a person, I could have fucked your husband or I could have fucked your wife, if they didn't mean it. If there wasn't something that was giving them that impression. But my ex-husband kept saying, no, no, no. Well, why did you, like, it's that part of, well, why did you get so fucking angry when I wanted to go stay at the hotel? And to this day, he still gets angry about it. Because he said about staying in a dingy hotel, which was a hotel room to ourselves. See, he had reign of the house, but I was left in the dark in the basement with no windows, no lights, on a mattress, on the floor, with no sheets. I had nothing. So if people want to say you don't know what it's like to have nothing, fuck you, I don't. My ex-husband tells me you don't know what it's like to be homeless. Well, if what I experienced down in that basement, I know exactly what shit feels like. But he won't look at that. The only thing he'll say was, no, I couldn't have fucked her. You wouldn't have fucked her, but you left me in the basement alone. You were buying her paint and helping her paint. And you wouldn't even buy paint for us for our home. And you wouldn't let me put pictures of it. It's that part of, should I even want him to be my friend? Because that's not even much of a friend. But he has the audacity to say, you have a friend. You had a friend when they didn't fuck you over. Well, it's that part of, hey, dude, in 2009, you fucked me over. And it wasn't until 2011 when I cheated on your ass. And then not even a year later, I divorced, or divorce was fine. So it's that part of, see, the thing is, when I say about family and strangers, he'll treat a stranger better. And, he'll, like, people, not just him, but others, they'll treat their family members poorly. Don't want to hear your problems, don't want to hear your life story, don't want to hear this, don't want to hear that. But yet, you'll go sit in front of a TV and you'll watch a documentary or a biography about someone's life who is experiencing the same thing as that person you say you love and is his family. You're blowing them off, but you're watching a stranger. And you have more empathy for that stranger. That's what makes it sad and actually sick. And when, like, I had somebody do that just the other day, like, they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. And then they put a documentary on about somebody else's life. It was like, I'm supposed to be your family. And you're getting angry with me because of what I'm going through, what I'm experiencing, and I'm trying to express it, but you go and you'll watch a stranger's story and feel empathy and cry for them. And it's that part of, like, oh my gosh, like, people will even, like, actors and actresses and these like singers and people you don't even freaking know that you idolize. You'll watch their life and you'll feel sorry for them and oh poor woman so and so like oh my gosh that's and you got a family member going through the same thing, the Johnny Depp thing when COVID was going on, and everybody was watching the John, like people were watching the Johnny Depp divorce, and my ex-husband was watching it too about how she was slandering him and everything like that. Johnny Depp is said to be on the Epstein list. And my ex-husband was glued to that about, oh, she's screwing him over and everything, because he's always saying about women screwing men over. But wait a minute, how many of this stuff does he watch where it's a man fucking or screwing over a woman or masculine energy, a masculine screwing over a feminine, gender neutral? But it was really fucking irritating. It was like, dude, like you're more concerned with fucking Johnny Depp than you are your own family? And to anybody else like that? Seriously. There's times when I tell him, like, when I go, I just may not even go and not even be your friend because you really fucked me over. And you say that I fucked you over. No, you got exactly what you deserve. And someone say that I did. Well, yep. For certain things I did, yes. But I never treated a man like a piece of shit. He says for women all the time. I don't shoot down men or women in that aspect of things because I know how women can be and I know how men can be. And I know not all women are the same and I know not all men are the same or masculine, feminine, gender neutral. But it's that part of, dude, don't tell me to get over shit when you're the one always throwing shit in my face. I don't care who it is, whether it's a family member or whether it's my ex-husband or whether it's somebody that, you say you're my friend. Well, if you're doing that to me, you're not my friend. I try to save him from this. I try to like help him see where he's being used from others. But he don't believe me. I'm the problem. But I was never the problem. He has a severe grudge against women, but he'll hear like the grudge is against women and men, but he'll cater to a man. Because when the people were coming here, it was me, and he had all men around. So, it's like, dude, you told me this guy was dangerous, but yet, like, you're the one that was telling me that you wanted to bury me and you wanted to kill me. So who was actually the dangerous one? Or are you him? So it's that part, like I know when there's different versions of him, and certain things like they'll label you with people with certain things, and it's that part of if somebody is labeled with something, it's don't dismiss their behavior and say, oh well, that's just them. Don't dismiss their behavior because all you're doing is fucking enabling, and you're making them somebody else's problem. Because with my ex-husband, none of his family members really stood stood up to him. Nobody. I've yet to see in the 25 years that I've been around him, I have yet to see anyone other than myself stand up to him. Oh, oh, just let him be, let him be. No, because when you let him be, you're enabling him, and you're enabling him and letting and saying, it's okay how you treat people. It's okay how you talk to her, but it's not. My family, like I'll tell you, like the way my ex-husband, it's like, he wants to belittle me in front of people because that's what he did in front of my dad today. He tries to belittle me, and my dad should have told him off. Because when we were at my dad's place, this isn't to throw shame at my dad. It's just saying, you should have said something. Because one day when just after Christmas or around Christmas, we were at my dad's place, and my dad and my ex-husband started getting confrontational because my ex-husband was getting irritated because he didn't agree or like what what my father was saying. So I took my father's. I spoke up for my father. So I know that when things get escalated with my ex-husband and I know that that's that part of my masculine that's stepping forward and defending me. And I know it's whoever I am. It's God. It's that version of Jesus, Yeshua. Well, Jesus, Yeshua is the healer. Jesus is the he fucking kick your ass because when Jesus got angry, Jesus got angry. And they'd show like he was flipping shit, and I feel that where it's just like so much anger and just wanting to flip shit, but actually wanting to lash out and beat the fucking Jesus out of him. So it's that part of, hey, you're putting me in the middle, and I know that maybe my ex-husband's trying to instigate to get me to him, so that he can say to people, see, I told you she was mentally ill, but she's not mentally ill. I'm connected with spirit. Kisala puto kreaina. Esule trataya kurieta arisu kurai kure patagaramat kitutu tare este supletai. Gisala kota I musla esule. Like right now, there's a lot of people, and I can feel now. I'm realizing that I'm connected to people in the collective, and I'm feeling it. It's you, not me. I'm feeling it in here. And now it's coming up, and it's like it's like barf wanting to come up. It's you're living in that solar plex area where your heart is cut off because it's hurting, it's resonating with things I'm saying because maybe you experienced it too. And I'm experiencing you because it's that part of you gotta let it come up. It feels like it comes out at verbal diarrhea. It's a part of I'm not going to take my shit. If I'm angry, if I'm angry at someone, I'm going to take it out on the person that I'm angry with. When I'm angry, when I get in that and I'm working through things with regards to what I experienced with my mom and what have you, I get angry with my mom in spirit. My mom and I, we talk to one another in spirit. Last night, my ex-husband told me something, come down and told me something. And then the person that he was talking about, I ended up channeling them. But my ex-husband won't believe that. And that's fine. That just tells me there that you are not my partner. You are not my version of a healed Christ. Because you're not healed if you're still throwing it at me. I'm healed. It doesn't bother me with regards to what happened because I don't care what happened in 2009 anymore. But there's that part that festers in here. There is a piece of me that gets infuriated as the part of, you have the fucking audacity to say about what I did. You did something even worse because I was on. And every time I had women around, he would be around because the women were here. But when they weren't here, he would be nowhere to be seen. But see, the thing is, there were a few women that come around that I thought they were his person. So it's that part of, I'm really glad that I didn't set that. I'm really glad that I didn't let them go to him, let that happen. I'm really let that happen. I'm really glad that it didn't happen because those people would have been in the same position that they were in the previous relationships. It would have been the same thing because he would have done the same thing to them. When he sorts himself out and and becomes healed and stops blaming women, because I'm going to tell him again, you wore that moose hide pin on your shirt again today. Take it the fuck off and keep it off until you stop throwing shit on women. Because he's always throwing, I'm telling me I'm a feminist. I'm a feminist. I'm not a fucking, not the feminist that they say. Because he's using feminist as a weapon. Well, you're a masculist. And yes, that is real, a masculist. It's right now, it's classed as white supremacy. And that's what we're facing right now. Because white supremacy, women are treated like a piece of shit. And women will treat each other like a piece of shit who are part of a white supremacy. Because you could, like, even vice versa, because a woman can be in a relationship with somebody of a white supremacist, shows no respect, or does what they do, and works to make the woman jealous. And it creates that anger and hatred towards that person. But I see more people, if you're treating strangers better than your own family members. And that's really fucking sad. But it's that vicious circle of it going down the generations. And as it goes down the generations, it's harder to break. Like he said last night about, like, with regards to what he's experiencing, he says that of his ancestors. It's like, dude, I already fucking told you a long time ago that's what you were experiencing, but you mocked me for it. You told me I was fucking crazy. But you tell everybody else that they're right. You give them credit, but you never give me credit. You're just as bad as your father. Because he said his father did that. It's not to throw shit at his father, because his father had his own stuff of what made him the way he was. But it's that part of, dude, you're doing to me what your father did to you and what his ancestors did to him, or what happened to him. So how are you any better? I had a family member tell me I was a liar. How am I a liar? People can say what you want. I tell people, if things lash out or I get frustrated, you're experiencing different things because it's the collective. That's why I say my channel is spirit to spirit, teachings of going within self. It's spirit teaching you and teaching me. That's why I'm being coming off as being humiliated because sometimes do you think I don't know that I sound like I'm contradicting myself? It's because it's the masculine and feminine going back and forth. But people say, "Oh, you're just making excuses." No, no, I'm not. Jesus was saying about the feminine and the masculine. Jesus was experiencing the feminine and the masculine. The masculine is the protector, the aggressor, more assertive, and the feminine is more of a healer, the nurturer. But lately I don't get time to be in that nurturing because I'm always in that aggression because I'm surrounded by aggressive aggression. So my masculine is always in protective mode. And that's what a lot of people are experiencing. It's like 1 minute you're soft, and then the next minute you're a fucking hard person. You have disdain and hate for everything and everyone. And then you're loving and caring. It's because that inner feud is happening, that feud between the masculine and feminine, and it's being able to find that balance. Like whenever be honest, whenever and he'll deny it, but whenever I talk about like my project that I'm working on, well, he gets really irritated about it. He's just and he does do that. But he said today when I caught him doing it, he tried to belittle me in front of my father when I had just seen him sit there. He was looking up and around and everything like that. And when I said about my project so that I could bring it to light and help other people, he just went like this. And then he said, "Well, I was just looking at the floor." No, you weren't just looking at the floor. I'm not blind. I'm not fucking stupid. I read body language and I experience energy because then he said, "Oh, well, Yana, your daughter thinks you always think they can read your mind." He shot me down in front of my dad. Seriously, to my ex-husband. Seriously, you didn't like it being done to you. You don't like it being done to you. So why the fuck are you doing it to me? And then expecting me not to give it back to you. It's a little hypocritical, ain't it? But he acts all holier than thou, like he's never done anything in his life when he's actually done shit piles. Actually shared a dream that I had. It was like a vision, and I felt like I was that. I felt like I was that person. I felt like I was walking somewheres, and two men come out and threw. It was like they threw gasoline on me or something and lit me on fire. And my ex-husband told me that he was at one of the ports And he watched a couple men come running out from around the corner and threw a kamikaze cocktail on a man and lit him on fire. And my ex-husband just watched. And you say you're a man, you say you're a protector. You actually, he said that the man was stupid for running. Because in my dream I was running. And he said that the man was stupid for running. When you just get thrown a kamikaze cocktail lit on fire, you really think that person is going to fucking stop, drop, and roll? They're not going to think to do that. They've just been fucking traumatized. And you're saying to them, well, they didn't stop running. They were still running. Yeah, but guess what? When they started running, you should have ran after them and put them out because you did something extremely fucking dark. You watched them fucking burn. I have to ask, were you one of the ones that threw it on them? It's a legitimate question. Because I'll tell you right now, I can see the darkness in my ex-husband because he can't even, he goes around all the time with sunglasses. And that's that the darkness can't look at the light. It's, dude, you better start looking at the darkness that you've exhibit towards me and other people. It's that part of, probably any other, like many other women who would have got with him. The way he is with me, if he was like that with them and infuriated them that much and shot them down that much, they would probably start pushing me. Because with this other couple that came here, she would hit him. And I know that, that physical altercation that took place in the yard, I know he said something to her. He may think that I did not hear him, but I heard him tell her. Because I heard him tell her to the mind. That's how connected I am. And that's how connected I was. And that's why, in many ways, like I was asked, do you regret doing it? It's like, well, now that I look on, I look back on it. Obviously, it was something that was meant to happen for there to be a lesson learned. But do I regret doing it? I regret hurting. That's what I regret. I regret hurting because I know what it feels like to be cheated, and I made her feel that. So that's the one thing that I regret. And if she never gets past it, well, I I can't say anything about that. But I'm not going to let my ex-husband keep me reliving it when he won't even relive his own fucking shit or anyone like him. Am I jealous? No, I'm really fucking irritated. I'm really irritated because he tells me time and time again, I protect you, I will protect you, No, you haven't protected me yet. Because I tell you, I feel people's intentions. I feel how they feel about me. But you defend them. You stand up for them. You don't know how to be a friend, man. That's why you had me. It's that part of start learning how to be a friend, and then the good people will come. I don't go around people anymore, hardly. I have no friends. I had friends, and there was an experience, and no such thing as coincidence, just synchronicities. I had a friend, and they came here, and they met someone here, and then 2 days later, they were no longer fucking talking to me. And strangely, the other the partner of the person looks exactly like what my friend's brother looked like. Same age, everything, just a different name. Same medical problems, everything. And I'm not doing shit because I can see them. I can see their darkness. I had a guy ask me what I was getting from him, and like he was dressed in normal clothes, and I looked at him and I said, "You had a dark past, man." And he went in and he got his mess from the people that had been previously associated with. He was no longer in it. He just had to think. But he was showing me that I was right. And it was more of like, how did you know that? By just looking at it. It's not because I'm looking at your outer. I'm seeing your soul and I'm seeing your heart. And that's why I get so pissed off. That's why I get so angry and frustrated. Because I see all that darkness, but I see that child in. I hear all of that anger coming out and all that blame on other people. When in the end, it's up to you to do change. It's up to you to get past that. You're allowing that to run your life, and you wonder why you're sick. You wonder why we're classist, mentally ill. You wonder why we're physically ill. You wonder why we're overweight. In the end, it's our problem. We only have ourselves to blame. And you can't say that you're waiting for Jesus or someone else to come to save you. Because even like if people say Jesus saved them, they got off their addictions and everything like that. No, you saved yourself. Jesus healed people of their physical elements, like the blind or the walking. But mentally, you heal yourself because you have to do that dark night of the soul. You have to do that shadow work. And when you sit there and like you feel more sorry for a stranger that you don't even fucking know than you do your own family members going through the same thing. And you treat them like a piece of shit. But you're, oh, there to a stranger. I'm going to tell you that's really fucking cold. And you need to find your heart. And that's why the world is the way it is. Because people are waiting for Jesus to come, or they're saying that Jesus saved them. But in the end, it was you who saved yourself. It was you who realized that you needed help. It was you who asked for help. Jesus was the messenger telling you that you are able to do it yourself. That's why he didn't do healings for his disciples, because they had to learn the hard way in order to understand. And, there's someone in here, didn't like me saying that because, it goes against what your Bible says. But does it? Or does it go against the words of somebody else who interprets it? Because seriously, it is you. Jesus will come to you, or God will come to you, Spirit will come to you through different people to be that guide, to lend that helping hand. But it's you who has to accept it. It's you who has to do that work. You say about Jesus coming back. He's all if Jesus was immortal and he could raise himself from the dead, do you really think that he's fucking dead? Sit with that for a few minutes. Better yet, sit with yourself for a few minutes. So that's where I get irritated with people when they say that of God and Jesus saved me. I quit drinking and everything. Like, did you hear the first part? I quit drinking. Did Jesus quit drinking for you? Did God quit drinking for you? No, you quit drinking. You quit doing the drugs. You stopped being promiscuous. You stopped the food addiction. You did the exercise and got your body into shape. But many people just say, no, Jesus. And you didn't get the message right because Jesus was trying to tell you that you were able to heal yourself. That's why he only healed certain people because you see their heart. They were ready to be. But cold, hard hearts, you have to do that. And those are called lost souls. So when people say that, the person is soulless, they're soulless because it was like their light went out and someone has to come along to spark it up. And that person is you and me. Because we're all here to help one another, even if it's just to see that person. Give them hope back because hope has been suffocated. because of stuff that's transpired. And I know people don't like me saying about that part with regards to that part of explaining the soul like that, a soulless person. Even a clone has a consciousness because it takes a consciousness out and puts it into the clone. And that's why they only remember, like, that's why only certain things come to you. It's like a memory loss. Sometimes, it's not even a clone, it's a doppelganger, or you're experiencing it in a parallel timeline. So when I experience or see people treating family members like their feelings and things like that don't matter, and their experiences don't matter. You don't want to hear them. But then they sit there and they see you watching a documentary about someone else's life. Do you know that hits really hard? It's like it leaves you like, I don't understand. It leaves you feeling unwanted. And then family members, wonder why family members take their own lives. And anyone who treats a family member like that, whether you like them or not, you need to like, have a reality check, how to have that take your head seriously. Because as much as I get angry at people, I still want, like, I still want to see good for them. When some people would just want to wish they, my ex-husband, yeah, sometimes I just tell him I can't stand you. I fucking hate you. Yeah, I told you. My ex-husband is my karma that goes back to the beginning. So it's that part of, next time you want to tell your family member to go away and feeling like they're not wanted or they're not worthy, and their feelings and like their traumas don't matter shit, but you go and sit and watch a documentary, you sit up and some of those same people will say that they've done both. But if you're doing that to people, to family members, you didn't find God at all. Like I said, yes, how is me coming on here any different than you sitting down watching someone's documentary? There's millions and millions of people watching those, but there's maybe a couple hundred watching me. Is it because it's about you? Yes. But if it's about somebody else, it's okay, which is really fucked up thinking. It's that part of, I would have been probably moved on by now. I would have been further ahead than what I am right now. Because it's like, sometimes it's take 5 steps forwards, 3 steps back, but you're still ahead 2 steps because you only took 3 steps back from that 5. See, some people say it's easier to fall backwards. It's easier to go backwards than it is forwards, because to go forwards, it means that you have to put some effort into it. I may be angry sometimes with my family, but I never stopped caring about them because my family is my inspiration to get to where it is that I want to be in life. But sometimes they're also the ones holding me back. And sometimes it's because I don't want to leave it behind. And that is what makes it so hard. And that's what makes it hurt so much. And that's why I get aggressive. It's that little hope. Hope is looking for hope. Hope is looking for love. Hope is looking for faith. Can't say charity because I say I don't want your money, and charity is me. I don't want people feeling sorry for me because I don't feel sorry for myself anymore. Sometimes I still feel angry with myself because I'm allowing myself to put up with shit. And sometimes I feel like I should just walk away. But then Spirit just keeps bringing me back because I made a promise. And I've been keeping my promise. But the one I made a promise to is broken others. He says, it's like when you make a promise to someone that you're not going to leave until you know they're okay. And, you know, it's that part of, if you're not trying, why should I waste my fucking time? It's like they say we come into this world, this life, and with a contract. And everybody has a contract that they're going to work on and happen. They're going to move forward. So the thing is, the one that broke promises to me, which are contracts, I will say he's like a contract. That's the closest thing I can. I don't know anybody else that I could say that, that people would understand with regards to what I'm talking about when it comes to a closure. They expect you to do the work, but they don't want to do the work necessary because it actually takes looking at yourself where you can no longer fucking point at someone else. Sembra todo aí. So it's a part of stop waiting for Jesus to come and save you because you're more than able to save yourself. And once you realize that, your life will change. So with that being said, I'm sending you all much love, light, many blessings, most importantly, very good health to anyone in the world who wants to be willing to receive and accept. I want you all to be big, bold, brave. Most importantly, be yourself. Be your authentic self. Be true to yourself, be true to others, be kind to yourself and others, and know that you have more strength than you can comprehend at times. It's just looking at the sun because it ain't going nowhere. So let's learn to love it, embrace it, and let go. Pela cultura de Cristo.